Okay, Monday night again.
Yeah.
What were you doing?
I'm shutting all the shit off on my phone.
I look over, Tom's gone.
Yeah. I'm like, shit. Something's going to come on. Mike's going to fucking be pissed. Power and Speed, 908-751-0211.
And remember, like us on Facebook and iTunes especially. And rate is good there, too.
You know, the only thing I got to comment on is a couple things.
Yep.
Our listeners have amazing cars. I mean, like, I see the shit that they post.
Oh, yeah.
And I really don't think... I wouldn't have thought that this much cool stuff was out there.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I can't... I don't go on Facebook enough to know these people. You know, I mean, I really don't. But I got to tell you, some of their stuff, I mean, beautiful stuff.
I know. And fast stuff.
Yeah.
I saw the 7-second, whatever it was today.
Somebody's dialing back.
Was that a Mustang?
Yeah, Mustang.
Yeah.
I bet you that thing's pretty light.
Oh, it's got to be.
Yeah, that's a pretty neat car.
But still went 7 whatever at, 180 whatever.
Yeah, 179 or something.
179.
That's moving.
That's flying. It's pretty cool.
And that was a 5.3.
Yep.
Little baby 5.3. I don't know if it was a 5.3 with stroke or it was just a 5.3, but that was pretty good. But yeah, I was looking through some of the stuff and I'm like, man, our guys have a lot of cool stuff.
Yep, we got a lot of cool guys.
Seems to be the key engine, too. So.
And did you happen to, I know I asked you before, but you didn't see that picture of Big Chief, did you?
I did not.
It came across on my feed, and I'm like, look at that doofus with the big white socks.
Well, he's been on the show with big knee socks looking. I don't get that look.
Yeah, well, I
just don't.
And then they made fun of Nikes, and I'm like, oh, I wear Nikes.
Well, I mean, the sneakers aren't the part that looks bad. I mean, you can get away with any kind of shoe, right?
No, but I mean, they were talking about, like, if he got divorced or some shit. I'm like, how come I'm the only one that's thinking, look at this fucking retard with those socks? And sure enough, one of our guys, like, nice socks.
That's what I would have. Yeah, I know. Our guys are great. They really are.
It's the mindset.
Yeah, that was great.
Did he get divorced?
I don't know. I don't watch the show.
Do you care?
No.
Me neither.
Mike just zones in on the socks.
Nope.
Well, it's where he should have looked.
I just looked through the stuff, and I mean, the one thing I will give Facebook, I could understand how people waste time, because I really don't care what anybody's writing.
Yep.
But I mean, you see some of these, memes and stuff, like just.
Yeah.
And I grab a lot of material off there that I'll use on people on Twitter.
Sure.
Like I guarantee there's whatever next feminist I run across, there's a picture of a girl passed out in a shopping cart. And they're like, look, I'm at Walmart and somebody's returning a sandwich maker. So I was like, I got to have that.
That's great.
So I stole that.
Well, and you did have the good one, the toast.
Oh, the toast one?
Oh, yeah. Man. I was crying when I saw that. And it was perfectly used, by the way.
Shades of toast.
Yeah. I don't really want to break his nuts about that one. But yeah, that was a good one. Someday we'll talk about
but
that.
I do. No. Okay. I got you.
So,
I still got to shut my video shit off because something's going to happen, and I'm going to have...
Oh, you mean you still got shit on your phone?
Yeah. Yeah, I got to do that. Tad, talk about something.
So, I went to Englishtown this weekend.
Now, hold on. Hold on. I
know this story.
I got to stop you here for a minute.
Yeah.
Because I talked to you. You were going there. Some kind of insane shit about you didn't like the music or whatever, and I didn't know Englishtown was a dance club, Ted. I had no idea why you were going there. But you told me you were going for the roll race.
Exactly.
And I said, all right, get footage, let me know.
And I get there.
Hold on.
All right.
And probably 45 minutes later, after I got off the phone with you, Tom calls me up. He's like, is Tad retarded? And I was like, why? He goes to the roll race after they're done. And I'm like, what? So could you explain how you knew that you were going to drive all the way to Englishtown
At a certain time
and get there? Like, you basically drove there for a cheeseburger.
No.
Okay.
A track burger.
A track burger.
No less.
I'm heading there. Friend of mine calls me. I'm having problems with my Facebook. I was like, oh, Jesus, just whip on over there. Show him what he's doing wrong.
What kind of problems can you have with Facebook that requires an assistant?
Because his mother's Facebook is locking up.
We got to stop talking about this.
Yeah,
right
this
now.
is.
Yeah. You asked.
People are.
So basically, you were late because you're Tad.
He gave me $20 for helping them not fix it because I was like, dude, I don't know what you want me to tell you. I get to Englishtown. They're dragging the track.
Why did I ask?
Hey, you asked.
Listeners have guns to their heads right now.
And by the time I get there, they're dragging the whole track. Then they start putting water in the water box. I'm like, what? Oh, man.
So that's why I didn't see any roll races.
Yes.
from Tad.
That, and I talked to us. Bean was there. I talked to him. He goes, "You didn't miss nothing." So
what time did it end?
He made you feel better.
yeah.
What time did the roll racing end?
I got in at 12:30. I saw a couple of Benz's, AMGs, and stuff in the lanes. Parked my car, walking through. Try to find just look to see if anybody I knew out there. Nothing. Walked up to the stands, and they're sitting there dragging the track up and down with a big tire. Again.
Yeah, but if you got there at 12:30, that's what I'm saying. If they were having this style of racing, what'd they do? Do it for an hour or two?
They must not have had squat there. I mean, Jerry was there from Anthony.
Yeah.
And he supposedly was there to see an Audi R8. And he got it for a birthday present. Somebody got him a ride, or he could drive it or see it or something like that. I didn't even see that car there. He's posting pictures of it on Facebook, but I never saw the car there. So I don't know if I missed it. They got the car in the trailer and just left or what.
Okay.
But then, I got to see the
Great
Hondas.
story.
Yeah. I did see a couple of 8-second Hondas like at 170 miles an hour. I was like, it's impressive for a front wheel drive, but that's about it,
Fantastic story.
Riveting.
Yeah.
Riveting. But the good news is you have finally made progress on your vehicle. It will be going together, I guess, over this week and next week.
Yes.
Is what it sounds like. So that's good.
So you'll be driving it in the next couple of weeks?
Let's hope so.
What were you waiting for? You got a new downpipe.
No, I got an up pipe.
Whatever.
Up pipe with an external wastegate.
Yeah,
That's all in my car right now.
So now you got an external wastegate. You got all that crap. So there's really nothing else you need.
Should not be.
Okay.
The only thing I want is, because I was talking to Kevin, and he wants to update my ECU so it can do OBD2 so it can go past inspection. No problem.
Doing that fucking inspection thing.
Oh, hell yeah.
What is wrong with
There is not a fucking thing I own that has a sticker. Not one. And there's not
so
a
glad
fucking
for you.
thing I own that has a front license plate either.
Good.
Me
I'm
neither.
so glad for you because they give me shit when I have inspection stickers. So,
Gotta be you, bro.
Yep.
Gotta be. Something.
my lawyer, who's been with me through 3 of these deals, told me, do not get caught again. I was like, okay.
Wow.
They're going to
So-
put you in, motor vehicle jail? Is that where you're going to go?
Probably. I mean, they've suspended people for registration for stupider things. So,
Special sticker section.
yeah.
God.
Yeah, I know.
I brought it up.
You did.
We have a
did.
caller,
You
I
hung.
think. I don't know if this is our caller or a caller.
Oh, check it out.
What's up? You're on the air.
What's going on, guys?
What's happening? Who's this? Ooh, bad phone.
Hold on. Let me try.
Hold on. We're getting put
Sir,
on.
we're on the radio. We don't have time.
We're getting put on hold.
Our fans are waiting.
3, 2. Are you there? He put us on hold.
No.
Oh, man.
You're killing us.
All right, bud, you got to get to a better area
Yeah.
and then call us because we will pick back up for you. See ya.
Sorry, guy. I mean, really? Hold on.
No, he wasn't saying hold on.
I know.
He was in a bad area. He's probably panicking, looking at his phone. Up here he is again. This could be a bit. You back?
Yeah, I'm back. It works.
No, still kind of sucks. Where are you?
Okay.
Guys, a few months ago, you guys gave me great advice about supercharging my car.
Is this the guy from Hillsborough?
I don't know. The guy's going in and out.
Yes.
Apparently, we didn't give him advice about cell phones or anything.
I appreciate it, and I took none of the advice you gave me.
All right, we can't do this. This is crazy.
Yeah,
Sorry, man.
you gotta find
A phone booth.
a landline.
Yeah.
Phone booth,
Phone booth.
tin can of string,
Satellite
anything would be
phone,
better than
yeah.
what you got
Carrier
going on.
pigeon. Whatever.
Good luck finding a phone booth.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
Try back someplace better. We'll pick up.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could have swore I got out of that. You guys gave me great advice, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah, and then I didn't take
supercharger,
it.
and I didn't take it.
Okay.
And then it broke out. Yeah.
See, there's something that needs to be clarified here. I've seen and I always use the term, as all the kids say today. As all the kids say today, 0 fucks given.
Yep.
I don't care.
Mhm.
I'm not selling anything. I'm not working on anybody's car. I'm not a tuner. I don't have a chassis dyno. I don't make my living doing this. I'm going to say pretty much what I want. And that includes opinions that might not be popular among the pointy head crowd.
Mhm.
And that's fine.
Tinfoil hat crowd?
I wouldn't go that far.
Oh, just a...
I worked for one of them.
But I mean, look, if we can help somebody with something, I'm happy to do it.
Sure.
I don't care if there's something we know about. But I've been the first to say it. I've been completely neurotic about the turbocharger side.
I know.
Because if you don't know something, you got to learn it, to me. And, you could also take the approach of, well, I'm just going to call the right person and buy the stuff.
Sure.
Anybody who's thinking about asking us for advice, there's nothing wrong with that. But you really got to do your own research. You got to look, you got to learn, you got to read. And the worst thing is you got to know where and how to read. You can't.
I think it's a better idea to ask us because we do know a lot of shit. We do.
Yeah, but it's tough because depending on who you're talking to, like the crowd today, I mean, you're still involved.
Yeah.
Heavily involved. I'm not.
Yeah. But
and I don't feel even remotely, I guess I'll use the term, authoritative if speaking about
but you should.
turbochargers.
You should, based on the Ministry of Misinformation that's out on the internet. The interwebs or whatever those kids call it.
Misinformation? On Facebook?
Yeah, it's not all true. Crazy.
Well, it is, and some of it is opinion. And like we talked, we don't have to rehash the head thing. We were going to, and
We can.
no, there's no reason to.
I know, because we're right.
All right, here's a guy. He's back again. Let's hope he's working. Hold on.
Third time a charm.
Yo, man.
If this doesn't work, then that's it for today.
I hear you. We got you. You're
Yeah,
good now.
And we knew that.
Okay, good. So you guys gave me great advice about a supercharger
Uh-huh.
a month ago. I took none of the advice.
Okay.
I got this chick knocked up, and all my money's going to the baby. Lucky for me, the chick was my wife, so it's all going to work out.
Well,
Good for you. Congratulations.
Nitrous, 150 shot. I got plugs when 2 degrees colder. I got a tune for it. Anything else I should look out for? I'm gonna do a wet shot. I got the Zex kit, the fogger kit that has the plate for the throttle body. Anything else I should look out for? The 150 shot. Want to be safe. What do you guys think?
safety side is going to be in tuning. But I mean, look, nitrous is always touchy, dude. Because if anything skews, if anything moves, I mean, it now 150. That's a pretty minimum. What kind of car is this?
Camaro SS 2012.
Okay, so LS1 type engine.
LS2.
Whatever.
Three,
LS.
LS3.
It's a 3. So it's a wet.
Heads are no good.
They're terrible. Thing's not gonna. It's not gonna make any power.
I heard Cathedral Port heads were the best heads out.
Yeah, you should run out and bolt set on. But it's a wet system, so tuning. I mean, I don't know. Where did you take it to tune it? You said you got it tuned.
Yeah, I'm gonna have it tuned. I haven't had it tuned yet.
Okay.
I gotta find a guy close to have it tuned.
Who's around here, like close?
Actually, Mark French on Route 1. What's the name of his place, Tad?
It used to be Turbo Tricks.
Yeah, no, it's not. There's a high end car lot on Route 1 in South Brunswick right now. They got Lamborghinis and some GTRs and some other stuff, but and I should know the name of it.
And this is in New Jersey, so if anybody from Arkansas is listening, don't go driving to Route 1 looking for this guy. This is all New Jersey.
But they have a chassis dyno, and the guy that owns the place, his name is Mark. He's a super tuner. He's a really good tuner. Yeah, and you're from Somerville, right? I'm just telling you him because he's close.
Hillsborough. I'm right on the border.
Yeah, I mean, so he's close. It's Route 1 South Brunswick.
Right, cool.
Tell him you heard it on the show.
I would say
I will.
the tuning is going to be, certainly important to make sure everything's okay. Probably the condition of injectors, because if you got one, it got a little funny. See, that's what I worry about. If one injector starts to go away or something happens, if that hole gets a little lean.
Well,
it's not like getting lean just driving.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter though, because
I have a shutdown switch that I had a motorcycle I had years ago. That if it senses it leaning, they'll shut down the nitrous.
Well, like a failsafe?
Yeah.
Is it AEM?
No, it's a Dyno tune.
Okay. I mean, he doesn't have to worry about the injectors going. If they go bad, they're going to go bad. It's not going to be affected by the.
See, my experience with the dry kit stuff was with.
It's a wet kit.
I mean, no, he said it's a dry kit. Isn't it a dry kit?
It's wet. It's wet.
Oh, wet.
Yeah, so he doesn't have to worry about the additional. The additional fuel will be there.
Is it an? Okay, I'm just going to shut up.
Yeah, no, that's all right. It's got to be tuned, but the additional fuel will be there.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
anything bigger than 150. I mean, I'm not looking to.
I'm going to say, this is the only thing I worry about. Any wet kit in any manifold that was designed to carry air, to me, is touchy.
Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
agreed.
That's just me.
I agree. It's got to be on the rollers, no doubt. Hey, I'll give you some advice. Is it your first kid?
Second kid, third kid, technically.
Oh, okay. Then don't worry about it. You don't need advice.
Well, I'm asking.
Don't drop them on their head; it'll end up like Tad.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, don't let the kids sleep in your bed.
Oh, my wife said the same thing. Yeah, my wife said. I think it said second kid. Oh yeah, my first kid, but my third nitrous kid.
Oh, it's your first.
Oh.
It's your first child.
Big difference.
First child.
Yeah, don't ever let the kids sleep in bed with you. They'll never want to leave, and you'll just don't do it.
And before you know it, they'll be moved into the basement, 35 years old,
And
whole nother
and you'll be
subject.
calling them. You'll be naming them Alan.
Oh,
All right, buddy. Well, good luck with everything, and congratulations.
Thank you so much, guys.
All right, man. See ya.
I thought he said a dry kit. I really don't
no, you
like
said a fogger, but
I don't like a wet kit on a manifold that was meant for air.
Yeah, I agree, but it's safe anyway. He's got to put it on a dyno. And speaking of dynos, our guest is here. You want to bring her in?
Yep, she's in.
Allison.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Hey, how are you? So this is Allison from Dynocom Industries. She's took a big leap of faith saying gentlemen.
Well, apparently I'm the first woman that you've interviewed.
That is true.
Yeah.
So we're hoping that we're gonna,
I don't even know how to conduct myself.
I know. Yeah, he has this look in his eye I've never seen before. So, how are you? How was your day? Did you sell many dynos?
I actually sold 3 Dynos today, so today was a great day.
Wow.
Still Monday, though. But I'm actually not surprised that I'm the first woman that you're interviewing.
Why is that?
Well, you guys are from Jersey, right? So you're clearly Hillary supporters, correct?
oh,
Well played. Well played, Allison.
I'm going to send her that picture I found earlier.
Very nice. That was very, very well done.
Yes, I'm calling from Texas, the red state, the big red state.
Yeah, we're not proud of where we are. We're just proud of who we are.
Well, Jersey has a really good history, so...
For what?
For racing, for, I don't know, all sorts of stuff.
That's true. That is true. But we also have a terrible history because politically we're a bunch of,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it. Anyway, so how is how's the dyno business these days? I mean, there's so much out there, and you guys are, I saw your stuff in Dubai and I was lucky enough to meet you, and looks like great stuff. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it, how you got started?
Yes, exactly. So I had the pleasure of meeting you. I haven't met Tad or Mike, but I did get the pleasure of meeting you.
Yeah.
And the UAE was really interesting because with that build-off between the UAE and the USA, that was quite interesting.
Yeah, it was neat.
Yeah, and you had to borrow my wideband.
Yes, we did. We did.
I mean, I don't know. Honestly, building an engine in the United States is one thing. Being, on the other side of the planet with, I packed all of my gym gear, my sports bra, my leggings, and I forgot my running shoes. Okay? So how you guys remember to bring all the things you need is amazing. And the U.S. won, so
yeah.
I'm really proud of that. I thought this would be kind of scary if we didn't win that one because...
Well, we lost. We won the first one. We lost last year, and Matt did a great job this year. And you and I have subsequently chatted a little bit, and you were good enough to tell us that you're going to want us to use your dyno next year in the competition.
Yes, I would be happy to do that. So
yeah, that's going to be cool. What are you going to use? Something with rollers or something with pods?
I mean, it has to be portable, so we're going to have to do pods because we're going to have to roll them in there. We'll just put them on. I mean, unless somebody wants to buy a trailer, which is popular in the United States and Canada, but not so much anywhere else in the world. But truthfully, if you want to be portable, the best way to be portable is to have the dyno installed inside of a trailer. Then you just pull up, put your rams down, start loading cars on, and you're done. Pods, we had a U.S. patent on pods. So we know all the pluses and minuses of the pods. So there's good things and bad things, but I think the best thing about the pods is that they are portable. So in the application, like in the UAE, I think that's probably what we'll bring.
Yeah, I would agree.
What's the downside to a pod?
The downside to a pod, it's a lot of work. So, a dyno day, if you want to bring in, 40 cars and dyno them, you can't do that with a pod. You have to jack the car up, you have to take the tires off, you have to bolt the pods off. It's a lot of labor. It's probably 15 to 20 minutes to set up each car versus like a chassis dyno, which would be, maybe 5 minutes. And then, of course, the other big advantage is, I would only recommend pods also in two-wheel drive. In all-wheel drive, I never suggest pods because for all-wheel drive dynos and vehicles, you want mechanical linkage. That's the key.
Yeah, and we had this discussion out there, and I still, I'm not arguing with you because Lord knows where that got me out there, but I still don't get that, and maybe you could explain that. I know it had to do with vehicle speed sensors and all that stuff, but tell me why.
Well, basically, you want to trick the car into thinking that it's on the road. You don't want it to think that it's on a dyno. So, like a lot of European vehicles, they have this crazy, you have to get into like dyno mode, and you have to push 16 buttons to get into, a point, even if it's in two-wheel drive, where the front wheels need to be turning, even though, it may not be truly all-wheel drive. So that's why you need to drive it with either, a linkage, AC motor, something has to drive those wheels.
Got it.
And of course, the speed differential, you don't want to blow any depth. So, if you have a Subaru, right?
Yeah, did. Yeah.
So 50-50 torque split, right? Front to rear?
Well, yeah, depending, but yes.
You can lock it in. But there's vehicles like the Porsche, no, not the Porsche. There's a Land Rover Evoque. It has a 90-10 torque split front to rear.
Oh, wow.
Or rear to front. So that's really hard to dyno unless you have it linked.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. That side of it does get pretty tough because if you have these, torque distribution computers, they would
see it immediately. Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes 100% sense now.
Yeah.
All right. I kind of knew you were right out there, but I just liked arguing with you.
Now,
I like arguing with you too.
Yeah.
I got to ask, how does coming from the engine dyno side, the water brake side, how do these things hold back if they're not an inertia system? It's not like I guess we know that one of the other companies, they're a roller that's heavy and accelerated and plotted over time. How do these things actually absorb? What do they actually do?
Right. So there's two. The major method is, engine dynos use water brakes because an engine dyno, if you think about it, it actually doesn't have the torque multiplier of the rear end of the vehicle. So when a chassis dyno has to take it, and all chassis dynos measure horsepower at the wheel or at the axle if it's a hub. Everybody thinks this is, it's going to go back and do the calculations to do it at the engine. But what you're using for loading devices is what's the most popular thing is eddy current. So they're basically electromagnetic fields and this big electric coil, and it applies. So you'll hear people say, eddy brake or load or, what else do they call it? Basically some way to hold the vehicle and to build boost and to hold it at a specific mile per hour RPM. And you can do that either, you can use hydraulics, there's some people that use hydraulics, but eddy current is the best because it's the fastest to control with digital and electronics, much faster than water or hydraulics. So eddy current is really what most major dyno manufacturers use. Okay,
so holding the vehicle back with this type of system, is there a heat dissipation system? Yeah. I mean, how does that just get into that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is we make all sorts of different sizes of chassis dynos. They range, from 8.75-inch rollers all the way up to 48-inch diameter rollers. So the OEMs like Ford and Tesla, the EPA specifies a 48-inch diameter roller. So because basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to match the load of the vehicle, so let's say 3,000 pounds is an average vehicle weight, you're trying to match that to the dyno. So basically, if you know the DynoJet 248, that was really the dyno that kind of made the performance market what it is. It was a really good dyno. It had a lot of inertia. Never were able to add an eddy brake, but it gave you all that load by just inertial load. So, but the problem was is you could never add an eddy brake. So that's when kind of the market started looking at, if you need to build boost, on turbos, or you want to do a step test, you're trying to do tuning cell by cell. That's how the eddy brake came into use.
Oh yeah, because in inertial you can't do steady state,
Yeah.
right? Because once it's going, it's going.
Yeah, if you're doing steady state, you're driving down the road.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's what? It's slam your foot against the ground and freaking do your run and you're done.
Got it. So are you going to run the dyno in Abu Dhabi?
I thought you and I would run it together.
Sweet. I like that.
Okay.
I like that plan.
Awesome.
It's a good plan.
Are we doing the same vehicles as last year?
Well, it's going to be trucks, but it's going to be direct injected and supercharged this year. So it'll make much more power. We're going to try to make 1,000.
Okay.
So it's going to be fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike's got a question in his head. I can see the look. Go ahead.
Percolating.
No, but I because I haven't been around chassis dynos forever. Just some of this stuff, like to me, when you're holding back a car, you got to displace that heat, unless you were accelerating a roller. So I guess I'm probably getting this somewhat confused with some of the AC brakes that I've seen in cup shops when they get particularly nuts.
Yep.
So the load is just accomplished. Does it generate its own current to make the load? And look, if this is outside of the technical side that, you're able to answer, I get it. But I'm just if you're holding the car back, you got to be generating heat. You got to use power.
Mm-hmm.
If it's an electromagnetic, an eddy brake, do they have a resistor bank, or does it work the other way? Does it put, a magnetic load against a wheel?
Correct. It's like a frictionless brake, and it is all heat dependent. So you can, like a supercharger, you can heat soak an eddy brake, and then it'll just stop holding.
Okay, so are the dynos self-contained? There's no big cabling or anything that has to go on?
Oh, no, there is. Or, it's a 220. Depending on, that's the disadvantage of pods. Each pod has its own eddy brake versus a chassis dyno, which usually just has one, maybe two if you're a diesel guy. So yeah, you can be upwards of, 80 amps that you need 220 voltage for those. So.
Okay, so you supply the current that's actually used for the braking force, from the panel.
Correct.
Got it. That was the missing part.
Yeah.
Now I got it.
And that makes sense. And I wonder how much heat they actually make, doing it. They're short runs. So, I guess if you do it all day long, they make some heat, but there's big fans on the dyno anyway, right? To cool the car.
Yeah, we actually do build fans into the dyno that cool the eddy brake. Well, actually, they cool the load cell, which is so there's an S-beam load cell, like a strain gauge, and that's actually what's measuring. And so we cool that. But, the biggest eddy brake in the world, it's going to fall off after half an hour of use. It's not going to be, and you don't want to touch it. You'll burn yourself.
So how do you cool? How many runs can you make on an eddy brake system if, in a row?
Yeah, most people, 3-4 poles. Don't forget, the biggest limitation for most facilities is cooling just in general in your dyno facility. Do you have the proper airflow going to the engine? So, you'll probably overheat the vehicle. And this is the thing, a lot of people just have their dynos set up and they've got no exhaust extraction. They've got no,
yeah, true.
They've got a Harbor Freight fan. There's all sorts of things that are kind of scary. So,
yeah.
Really the limitation is, Ford and NASCAR, they have, wind tunnels and dynos built in. They've got, $2 million dynos. The performance side of things is on a budget, so.
Got it.
Yeah, they're always cheap.
So you're saying the car will overheat before the dyno does, usually?
Yeah, and we actually have thermocouples built into, the eddy brake. It'll shut it off so you can't overheat it.
All right, so I mean, you could do 3, 4, 5 pulls. And as long as there's some time between them, it's okay. And really, that's all people do anyway. I guess these things they're not made to do all day testing or something.
I mean, you can. It's just the eddy brake itself. They say it should be like a 2-to-1 cooling period. But I mean, in our latest version of software, you have the ability to do like a 30-second run. So if you want to, like a watt pull, you're just flooring it and your run's over. But there's a lot of people who, they need to collect more data. So they'll want to do, they want to lengthen run. And you need to do that with the eddy brake and something we have called VRS, which is virtual road simulation.
Ah. And then you need to cool the eddy brakes somehow.
The eddy brakes, I mean, they're air cooled. They've got fins on them, and like I said, we build fans into it. But really, like I said, it's the vehicle that's probably need the cooling before the dyno.
Yeah, that makes sense. Especially if you're going to do a simulation like of a road race or something like that.
You're not moving. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I get that. So, what do you guys sell more of, the pods or the drive-ons?
Oh no, chassis dynos for sure.
Got it. And you guys,
yeah,
you sold 3 today. That amazes me. We were talking about it with all the competition. Like, how many could possibly be sold? But I guess it's just like anything else in racing, just the amount of people.
Well, I look at it like, do you remember wheel balancing machines in the 70s?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so they were like, I don't know how much they were, but they were a lot, right? And now every shop, tire shop, performance shop, everybody has a wheel balancing machine.
Yep.
That's the way it's going with chassis dynos. So if you're a performance shop and you don't have a chassis dyno, you're not really a performance shop. That's the truth.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Well, even garages had to have a dyno for the inspection.
Yeah.
So
right back to inspection with you, ain't it?
Oh, it is. He's a mess. Shut his mic off.
Now, somebody had asked, and I guess this is one advantage to an eddy type dyno, that, I imagine a DynoJet dyno or like an inertia type dyno, you kind of have it sized in a range because I wouldn't imagine you could use their full boogie, race car, most power they can handle to test a motorcycle.
Right. So that's why we make so many different sizes of dynos. I'm pretty sure, Dynojet, like I said, they used to make the 248. All they make now is the 224 in, either in two-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. But, we make, I don't even know, 10 plus different models in different configurations because there are so many different applications. There's a lot of off-road people. There's the diesel truck guys. They need 102-inch track width for dualies. You've got Subarus. Every different car in the world operates differently, and you can't just have one dyno that could meet the needs of every vehicle.
Well, from the eddy current side, if you oversized the eddy current, do you have more availability to go down? Like, do you have a broader range? Like, what I'm trying to ask is, could you buy a dyno that's too big if you knew you were going to do a lot of street cars, but also wanted to test some ridiculous race cars?
Right, and that's kind of like the happy medium, I would say, is probably like a 24-inch roller. Is a really good size that meets, the street. It meets, you could do a motorcycle on it. It may be a little bit like a motorcycle going up a hill, but, you can still use it that way. The reason that they make also like cradle rolls, which are more like the inspection type dynos that you were talking about.
Yep.
There is an advantage to those, which is, the number one advantage is price, of course. But the number two advantage is, you've got a torque multiplier effect of the size of the tire versus the size of the eddy brake and the size of the rollers. So you do get a good advantage that way. But, at some point, then you also are going to maximize the speed. So those are speed limited because the size of the bearings is, 175 miles an hour on our smaller ones. So, our bigger dynos, they can go to 300 plus miles an hour.
And so how much power can the big ones handle?
We actually, in our software, we don't cap it. So we just say it becomes traction limited.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. How about with the pods? See, that's the difference. That's where the pods get really cool. There's no really traction problem, right?
Correct. There's no traction problem. That's correct. But there is some disadvantages of the pods, which, like I said, I would only recommend them in two-wheel drive. The problem with the pods is really they're great. Actually, there's really good things about them. But I think one thing is they're not connected to each other. So what connects your tires when you're driving down the street is the road. What connects the tires when you're on a dyno is the roll and the shaft. It's all operating as one unit. So if you have a failure in left pod, right pod doesn't know what's happening and is going to keep going. So there's some people have had some issues with differentials and.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
I didn't think of that either.
Yeah.
I guess you can't.
Again, there's plus and minuses to every. That's why we make it all. So.
Yeah.
So by the end of the podcast, all of you will own Dynocom chassis dynos.
You're hoping. I mean, I'm going to buy one just because I feel like I have to now, but.
On a trailer or just?
I don't know, whatever. I'll just throw it in the garage and let it sit there. Doesn't matter.
Let's make it 4 today.
Yeah. I'll send you my credit card.
I didn't think about that differential side. That's pretty interesting. Because if something goes wrong. But you see, aren't there other sides even to the inertia type?
Yeah, but what would happen if you got two pods bolted up and one, I guess if one breaks a bearing or something like that and locks up, it'd be a disaster if you have a spool. But if you have like a true track, like my car's got a true track, it'll just, one side will click until the other side stops.
Yeah, but don't you get the multiplication through the center? You know what I mean? Like as you go through, it doubles or whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the failure mode. Like say one, sorry, Allison, we're having a discussion here.
Yeah, we'll get back to you. Hang on.
Just hang on. No, what I'm saying is if one pod fails and it locks up one side of the car.
Mm-hmm.
If you got a spool, it's a disaster. If something bad happens, if you got a spool in the car. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, bad.
Yeah.
I mean, like axle breaking or something coming through the roof.
Car
or
flips
something.
over.
Yeah. Pod flips over and hits Tad. But if you got a posi unit or a true track or, some kind of LSD, it would just, spin till it stops, right?
Well, see, the thing I don't like about the inertia thing, and I mean, again, this is one of those areas that if somebody called me out on Facebook and said you're a retard, I'll believe you, because I've only been around them a few times.
Yeah,
but I keep thinking back to the guy's dyno that we both know that's an inertia that he can't disconnect the motor. So that if the thing blows up at like 8,000, it eats itself until it comes down to speed that you could disconnect the weight.
Well, that is how they are. But I mean, on a chassis dyno, you could push the clutch in.
Yeah, well, what if something in the drive line's eating itself?
Then, it's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a problem. Sorry, you're back, Allison. Did we make any sense there? Or are we just two guys?
Totally.
Okay. So if you have a limited slip differential in pods and a pod breaks, it's okay. But if you have a spool, like if they're connected, then you got a problem. But what happens if something on the the chassis dyno breaks?
Nothing ever breaks on our chassis dyno. I mean, what is there to break? I mean, you've got a shaft that's like 215, 16. Even on the smaller dynos, it's nothing.
Okay.
To let go. Yeah.
Got it. All right. Well, that's cool. That's good to know. So their dynos never break.
Never. Actually, we're pretty proud of that. At TX2K in Houston, we're actually the only dyno that's never broken for the past. They've had every different type of dyno manufacturer, and we bring our all-wheel drive linked chassis dyno trailer to Houston for the past 3 years. Joel Pittman from QED Tuning in Atlanta, he drives all the way there to Royal Purple Raceway, sets up, dynos, 30, 40 cars every day, and never had a failure. And that's a lot of horsepower at TX2K.
Yeah, it is. I've been there.
See, I'm rifling through this with my scenarios, like,
I know,
because shit goes wrong. Watch TV, the disasters, they get all kinds of TV shows about it. I completely understand the link side of things, and it makes a lot of sense, where like specifically linking front to rear and side to side.
Yeah.
Because if you were just testing regular street cars, they don't have probably killer pos units. You can overpower them easily.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you maintain the torque balance? I mean, is that in the software, Allison, that it tries to maintain balance between the sides for braking? or load absorption?
Yes, that's what we do with the eddy currents. But the disadvantage of eddy current brakes versus a water brake is that they don't work at zero speed. They don't really work until about 30 miles an hour. So from like 0 to 30 miles an hour, you got nothing. As opposed to a water brake, like in an engine dyno, you've got it at 0. So, you can go all the way up, but not eddy current brakes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Damn it, I just had
A lot of things I never thought about here.
Yeah, I know. I just had something in my head and it went away. That happens to me because I'm old.
Well, and I was going to say there actually is an international standard for engine dynos. There is actually no standard for chassis dynos, which is kind of an interesting fact. A lot of people will say, how does does your dyno read high? Does your dyno read low?
Okay, and so and I guess it's hard to qualify a dyno versus a dyno because there are no. So you're saying you have no standards?
I have 0 standards.
Anyway, I got you on that one.
Clearly,
yes.
you've met me. Yeah.
So I do have. Here's my question. It came back to me. Do you guys have? Does your software have a mode? There's another manufacturer. I'm not going to say their name because that'd be indiscreet. That has a mode called shootout where you if you're dyno testing a bunch of cars, you put the thing in shootout mode and none of the dyno parameters can be changed. I mean, is that something? I'm just asking out of curiosity. I don't know how important that is anyway, but do you have that?
Right. I mean, we do. We have it now where you can't go in. But again, you can take a hair dryer to a weather station. You can change numbers on the chassis dyno. Doesn't matter what the manufacturer says about you being locked out and not being able to change things. You can always fuck with things. I mean, this is the aftermarket. That's what we do. We take a perfectly engineered vehicle and we friggin' screw it up. So you can do the same thing with a chassis dyno.
Okay. We kind of knew that.
Yeah, I guess just for like a shootout mode thing, it just means that nothing gets changed during the course of the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably, I hear what she's saying though. It's a feel good thing for the competitors, but reality is if you want.
I love doing that. I love looking at people's dyno sheets and you see some wacky brake specific number.
I know that was the thing you always caught people on.
You look at like a ridiculous amount of fuel and, and then they've got this corrected number and you're like, that can't work unless you've now invented a motor that runs at like 17.1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Anyway, well, you know what? Tell us, tell us one of the things that sets your stuff apart from the others.
Okay. I think, go ahead. Wait, what were you saying?
I was going to say, you can't say you.
Yeah, well, that's a given.
Yeah.
But no, what I would say is what made us number one. We are the number one chassis dyno company in the world. So the United States, of course, is the most important country in the world and the biggest market, of course. But there are some other countries in the world, So and there are, of course, other dyno manufacturers. But in the world, the United States leads the pack in front of the Europeans and in front of the Australians, and that's pretty much all there is. In the world, but the U.S. dyno manufacturers are definitely number one. But what makes us number one out of all of everybody is I personally have a background that came from a manufacturing background. And then later on in my career, I went to work in sort of the tech industry. I actually worked for a company. We were making all the Nokia cell phones. So do you remember Nokia? My kids are like, what's a Nokia?
Yeah.
So time to market from the initial design, tooling, ramp up, and ramp down is 18 months. So you were, the timeline to make something and get it out there and get it up and running quickly was something that I'd never seen really before, the tech industry. So we basically, and that's where the engineers come from. They all, we have great engineers, software engineers, firmware engineers, mechanical engineers that I think some of them are automotive people, some of them are not, but they have, really good understanding of what our customers are looking for and what they're trying to do. And then, of course, feedback. So we just released our latest version of software. It's not even a version. It's a brand new rewrite of our software. So that's kind of like how did we beat DynoJet? Well, obviously we had to come in with a better product, at a better price. And, you know, that sounds great. It sounds easy to do. It's not so easy to do.
Sure.
But really, the advantage, like I said, is our hardware design and our software. So our latest version of software, Quantum, we have, you know, our quarter-mile drag racing, 8-mile, 3D racing, virtual road. We have a speedometer calibration. If you get a ticket, you know, you can go put it on the dyno, bring it to the judge. We have a full EPA database of all the vehicles, basically the entire published EPA database of all the vehicles, their weights, and all of that information. So you don't have to be searching for things. You can put that in there, and that'll help you get, you know, get your map or your tune started.
Wow.
That's nice.
So let me just, you say you're number one, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but like, how do you quantify that? Like you guys actually sell more dynos than everybody else, or you're just saying you have the best stuff? I'm not trying to ask you a question that is going to, you know, but go ahead.
That's a good question, actually. So we purchase, obviously, eddy current brakes. There's only really two major manufacturers of eddy current brakes in the world. The first one is Fresnelsa, and the second one is Clam. Fresnelsa is what we use. They're actually great. We've had 0 failures with eddy brakes caused by the manufacturer. We've had customers blow up eddy brakes. You know, they've exceeded the speed and they blew the bearings and things like that. But from the manufacturer, Fresnelsa, we've had 0 problems. So we know our buy of eddy brakes compared to our competitors, what they're buying. So that's how we know.
Wow. That's pretty cool. I like that. So it's now quantified in my world.
I'm the best looking dyno salesperson out there.
Okay. I can't confirm or deny that because I haven't seen all the others.
And I bet you most of them are named like Bob.
Yeah.
Gives you a good advantage.
That's true. Yeah. It's an unfair fight. It's like a knife and a fork fight or some shit.
Spoon fight?
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, Allie, can I call you Allie?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's what comes up on your phone. We really appreciate you coming on. Can you, plug all your stuff, your phone number, your personal number. No, I'm kidding. Your phone number, email, company, all that stuff, website, fire away, go.
Sure. Okay. So toll free, Canada, United States, 866-436-DYNO, DYNO, simple, and website dynocom.net. So dynocom.net.
Okay. Any email, any suggestions? Is
.net.
You want to have a show deal? Offer somebody, 1% off or something?
Sure. Yeah, reference this podcast and we'll get you a deal.
Okay, cool.
Tom's calling tonight.
Commission?
Yeah, we'll work on that. All right. Yeah. Again, thank you. You're an awesome guest. You and I got to talk about the show over there, about the logistics of that thing. But we'll be talking. But again, thank you very much, and good luck to the company, and we'll be talking.
Awesome. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Okay.
See you, Allison.
Thanks, Al.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
She did bring up a lot of good points that I didn't think about.
I know.
With the pod stuff.
Yeah.
And she was smarter than you thought, huh? I love that look. Come on, you had your reservations.
I had to be careful.
I know.
I obviously she's somebody you could tool on, but I tend to be a little.
Oh, she's fun as hell. She is.
A little rough around the edges.
Well, it's hard when you're on a phone. It's like you don't know what you're attacking. You can't see their visual reaction.
I wasn't going to attack her.
Wow.
What the fuck?
Come on, Mike.
What kind of
Whenever you
world do
talk to
live
somebody,
in?
you're attacking anyway.
Jesus Christ, dude.
I live in the world of reality.
He's a little bit right about that.
Not that bad.
No, you're not. No, but she was good. She made a lot of good points, and
I never thought about that. Like with our Superflow dyno,
Yep.
it's kind of a very, like, as far as from a strain gauge perspective, you hang a weight on it.
Yeah.
This is
how you verify it.
This is your weight.
Right.
We had, we had a 150 and a 300.
Yep.
That we hung on a thing.
Yep.
And, and they were good. They were like to a decimal point, is what you had to hang on there. And I never thought about that with a chassis dyno.
Yeah.
How would you do that? So
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
Where you hang your weight.
What all the stuff she was saying in the end was pretty cool. Like, and I don't want to talk about other dyno companies, but the fact that they have 1/8 mile drag, 1/4 mile drag, all that cool stuff on the dyno.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
Well, I'm sure we've all seen like the
Holding for
Formula,
cells.
Yeah, like Tad, I'm sure has seen it in his travels a million times.
Yeah.
Like the Formula One things where they or even some of the Trans Am stuff where they sit there and they run a car in gearbox, through the gear, decelerate.
I love that watching that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, and so I mean, I believe that style of brake is probably better. And honestly, you know what it's like? It's like when we talked about like traction control and controlling an engine. The ignition is instantaneous.
Yep.
Electricity is instantaneous.
Yep.
And even with a water brake, even though you can't compress, water, there's still some damping factor there.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
But I did see, that's what I was trying to get at. I wasn't trying to beat her up on it.
No.
I don't know enough about eddy brakes because never looked at them, would never think about it. I didn't know if they generate current and you're damping the current down through a resistor block. Like, in other words, essentially, like if the brake was a generator,
Right.
or
Right.
you were supplying current to provide the braking force, and then the byproduct was heat. So obviously, we're bringing current in from the facility
right.
into the brake to hold it back.
Right. And then they got to dissipate the heat somehow. I never knew a lot about them either. Still don't. But I do remember that all the good engine dynos. Actually, remember Jimmy at the shop?
Who?
Up north? Jimmy Gutches.
No.
From the engine shop. It
No.
was called the engine shop. He had a Heenan-Frude dyno 20 years ago. And it was the baddest thing. And it was before I got the position that I'm in now and got to go all over the place. I'd never been in a cup shop, and come to find that that's what they all had.
Mm-hmm.
They had the Heenan-Frude.
Now those are AC brakes, right?
Yeah.
Now, how do they work for loading? Do they feed back to the grid?
You're asking.
Yeah, I mean, like this stuff to me.
I don't know, but it's cool. Yeah, I agree. It is cool. It would be cool to know. I don't know how they work. If they feed back, and also,
Well, I mean, isn't the grid like a big giant load bank?
yeah, and you could qualify going out and get paid for it.
Yeah, I wasn't worried about that.
No, I'm just saying, but that's how it works. Like if you have a generator and you don't, you generate 100 and only use 50, you get paid for 50. That's just how it is. But I wish she was still on, because I would ask her if she knew how they work, because now you're generating your own power, and I know it's instantaneous, but how does that slow the brake? You know what I mean?
No.
How does it apply load to the brake just by generating power? How much load could it possibly generate?
Oh, you mean from the generation side? Well, that's
Right.
I can't remember who I was talking about that. It might have been of all things FUD. But like, you take my generator here.
Speaking of the Ministry of Misinformation.
God,
Sorry.
poor guy.
Yeah.
Having a bad week. Go easy on him.
Yeah.
You took my generator here.
Yep.
I think that thing makes like, I don't know, it's like a 2-liter motor with a turbocharger. And
Yeah.
It's not the kind that you'd find in, somebody's Honda that's
No,
going 8
no,
O's.
no.
It's just a Cummins turbocharged natural gas motor.
Yeah.
How much power could it possibly make? Well, that can make 30,000 watts, like nothing.
Right.
So, I mean,
That's what I mean. And I'm not even.
and honestly, one point that she brought up that I've known, because I've talked about it when I try to, pound some stuff into the circle track guys, when you talk about gear and you talk about multiplication through the rear end and what actually goes to the tires.
Mhm.
If you got a 1-to-1 in the trans and you got a 4.0 rear end gear, well, multiply your horsepower times 4, your torque times 4. That's what's going down.
Mhm.
So that's a.
Well, yeah, but the machine will tell you a wheel horsepower, regardless of all that, and then you need to apply a percentage to calculate what your engine power is. But no one knows what that percentage is. I mean, people talk about 10% for
Well, it's got to vary from car to car.
It does. Of course it does. No, there's no doubt about it.
I think it's like anything else. Any of these dynos, I mean, whether it's an engine dyno or a chassis dyno, it's your yardstick.
Right.
If you know it, you use it. Probably the worst thing you could do is go from shop to shop to shop to dyno your car. Of
course.
Because it's a new baseline every time.
Best thing to do, the best dyno on earth is the one with the Christmas tree, and then you drive all the way down the track, and whatever mile an hour you're going,
The butt dyno?
you go into the Moroso book, and it'll tell you based on weight and
The dream wheel. The little
Yes.
slider.
yeah. No, but I mean that I think that's probably still accurate. I mean, mile an hour weight equals, will give you power. right?
Yeah.
You know, some drag in
But I
there.
mean, yeah, there's always something to come.
Yeah,
into
I know.
account.
It's none of it's 100%.
And I remember, I can't remember who it was. Might have been JC talking about that they could build a converter just for a dyno shootout.
Yeah.
Because there's things you do
Sure.
to make sure that the dyno is just.
Yeah.
So yeah, in the end, the racetrack is what matters.
It has to.
Well, it's neat. I don't know a lot about them because in the engine world, I've never saw them. You know,
No.
we never used them, never paid attention to them,
Man,
never bothered.
You made some pulls on an engine dyno, though, huh?
Oh, God.
How many did you make, you figure?
I don't know, but it was funny because the other day, we're at the same drawer that had Sputnik, you know, that old DFI computer.
Yep.
I had to go in there to find something else. And there,
More change?
no, there is, you know, like if you took, for people that are trying to picture what I'm saying, if you took like the stand-up filing cabinet, that's like, what's the thing wide? Like 4 feet?
Yeah.
Probably 4 feet wide, maybe even 5. They've got, you know, the lengthwise. So I guess there's 4 columns in each. There's 3 drawers in there filled with printed dyno sheets.
Wow.
I mean, that's how many tests, and that's the ones we saved.
Yeah.
You know, because chances are pretty good you didn't save every one, or, you know, one was a warm-up pull and you threw it away.
Yeah.
You know, or like something happened, you're like, I don't like that one. We screwed that up. Let's go again.
Yep.
Carburetor tests or whatever.
Oh, it's thousands and thousands.
Yeah. It was a lot.
I just read somewhere where somebody had 28,000 hits on something. Oh, yeah, that guy.
Who?
The guy that texted you on your email.
Oh, okay.
He said he could write a novel, blah, blah, blah.
All right. So I guess next week, who do we got?
Next week we have Mike McGinnis from Cobb Tuning.
That ought to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a tech guy and you want to ask questions, this guy, I've known this guy for a long time. I know him when he had a business up in Buffalo. He was a tuner, and he was always a super sharp guy. And I want to say, and I could be speaking out of turn, but I think this is how it happened. I think Cobb had headhunted him because he was so, you know, somebody talked to him about something and realized how sharp he was, and they brought him down to Texas, and I think he's one of their R&D calibrators now, which is pretty badass.
That is pretty badass.
He's a smart cat. He's a really nice guy. If anybody, you know, whoever's listening, if you got tuning questions, next week is the week, man, because this guy, he can do it all, and he's a race car driver, and he's good. He's held a bunch of records up in Toronto Motorsports Park. He does time attack stuff. So if you could probably ask him questions about brakes or about driving, but primarily he's an R&D calibrator.
Well, I mean, not to get too much into their company beforehand. I mean, like Ted, I've heard you mention Cobb, and Tom, you have. Were they geared more towards imports or?
Yeah, they were.
Okay.
I think they started with Subaru and Mitsubishi, right?
Yeah, the big 2 there.
Yeah, and now they break down a lot of stuff. They have the Ford Fiesta or Ford Focus, which obviously huge in GTR.
Yeah.
They have Porsche stuff. I don't know what else, but you know, you can go on Cobb and.
So are these guys like automotive hackers? Like they crack into the stuff, or you think that the manufacturer helps them to an extent?
I don't know which manufacturers help them. Some may not. He might be able to tell us that. He might not. I don't know, but they are essentially hackers. And, you know, tables in factory ECUs aren't labeled.
Yeah.
So when they look at them, they got to kind of determine what they do. And they get it right most of the time or all the time when they put a product out. Their product is good. I mean, really good.
Are they going to get into, can he get into the stuff we were talking about with the agency that's being stripped as we speak?
You know, I don't know. You know, actually, I do know. He did ask the higher ups, and they said, you know, we could talk about anything we want.
Okay.
If there's something he can't talk about, he'll just tell us. Yeah.
All right. Because the EPA thing is disturbing to me. I am far from a tree hugger. I don't even want to get into the whole climate change debate because things have definitely changed. The whole debate is whether it's us or not. And honestly, I don't know.
It's not us, it's volcanoes. But, you know, the problem is the EPA found out how good fucking Cathedral Port heads are, and they're shutting it down. They're fucking shutting it down.
You know, I'm really trying to stay away from this, and I know what you're doing. You're just poking me because you want me to black out and show these people exactly how out of my mind I get.
We're close to the end, so I figured a good poke would get you.
Shit.
You know, and look, I'm going to put this out there again for all the people that didn't listen. I got a pile of money here.
Me too.
To anybody that wants to duplicate that test. We had
we could do the test. We'll do the test. If anybody wants to call us out and put some money down.
Yep. We'll do a nice little escrow account, and
I mean, let's have a minimum. I mean, I don't want to do all this shit for nothing. Let's
20.
Well, I mean, I don't know. You won't get somebody on board for 20. They'll think.
What, you think I'm doing it for $1,000?
No, I was gonna say $5,000.
All right.
I mean, I would do it for, all right. I don't want to talk like an asshole. We could do it for 20. I don't think you could get somebody in for 20.
Well, I would.
Somebody might get Froggy for 5.
I see these people, and I know what they're doing. They're poking me. That's what they're doing.
Well, let's do it.
And the guy's car, and listen, let me clarify a few more things. See, now you had to fuck with me, didn't you? You had to fuck with me. I was there's no doubt the Cathedral Port heads can make good power. Of
course
There's
they
no
can.
doubt
Of
about it. I
course
have
they
never
can.
said that. I don't want any of you nitwits to take it that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying they're no good. I'm not saying they don't work. That guy's Mustang that went so fast, that's a 5.3, and it does have a Cathedral Port.
Of course, and they make a ton of power.
Of course they do. The thing that I have the problem with is something happened in the validity of that test. Scott Clark was just at the place that ran this test. And
Careful.
yeah, Scott was just there, so he knows the people that did all this. And I would never ask to put him in the middle of this. I wouldn't. But
he would go there though, because you guys are BFFs.
I don't know about that. I would never ask somebody to take a side or take an opinion that has something to lose, because again, I have nothing to lose here.
Right.
Nothing.
Me neither.
I mean, if a Cathedral Port guy decides, well, I'm not going to listen to those guys anymore, fine, beat it. That's okay.
Yeah.
I would like to do that test because I feel that there's something wrong, because I do not believe with the specifications I've seen. And by the way, hang on a minute. I'm going to mute everybody for a minute. All right, there'll be more on that at a later date.
Yeah.
We can get into a little more detail. Anyway,
Ooh, that was secret squirrel stuff.
Ooh,
it
yeah.
was.
I like that.
Rocky Bullwinkle.
Yeah.
And I have that master mute button, which works pretty damn good.
We hope it worked.
No, it worked. I looked to make sure that there wasn't anything going out.
I know.
All I'm saying is that my question, I'm not knocking the guys involved.
No.
I'm not
I am.
saying that they don't know what they're doing. I'm not saying that Cathedral Ports are worse than every other head on the planet. But I am saying that test is suspect enough to make me hit my pocket.
Well,
so
yeah.
If somebody's willing to do that, call us up and we'll be here.
Wow, we just got a very big person, another person, company invite themselves to do the test.
Oh, really?
That's a very, very big name. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if I have to end this. I have to end this because there is no doubt that at some point I will reach the limit where people are like, all right, Mike is too big of an asshole to ever listen to again. I have to tamp this back. My friends understand.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll be back next week.
Yeah, Cobb Tuning. We've got a great engine builder the week after, and we'll keep them coming.
Yep, and stay tuned, and thanks for listening.
Yep.
Yes.
See ya.
See ya.